give you a quick tour of the key features of this planning tool. The idea of the planning tool is to open up the tool with your team, maybe do a screen share, and then the person driving this application can quickly create and then update the plans, also with a view to consider the capacity of the team to take on various work items. What you've essentially got a task grid which has got a time view along the top. Each column represents one calendar day, and you've got an arbitrary number of rows, and then associated with the team or teams are a number of resources. So you could configure this to your heart's content. You can also associate tags with either resources or tasks. And then as you move the tasks around, you can see the impact on the resources. And that immediately enables you to see whether you've got capacity in your teams to actually take on the work that the tasks represent. So let's just quickly go through the key parts of the feature set. So you can export information, including the timeline, the task grid, and all the resource loading. There's PDF, PNG, you can export CSVs and HTML. So let's just edit a couple of tasks for starters. We're going to just click and drag to create a new task. And then you can associate some tags with that if you like, maybe phase 1, save that. And let's just say that this requires resource 1 of resource C, save. So there we go, our new task is on row 5, and what you can do is as you move it around, you can see the associated demands on the resource move as well. You could put another task in here and say task 2 and save that, and let's just say this will be phase 1 as well, save that, and let's just say that this requires 1 of resource D, hit save. So you can see as I move the task around, it indicates where the what the load on the task is. And obviously if you move that down here, you can see that you are overloaded on resource D. You can drag the edge and make it big and smaller. What you can also do is if you've got a sequence of tasks on one row and you push this forward, it pushes everything down the track. You can create dependencies by grabbing the node handle and putting those links through. You can multi-select tasks, so pressing Control, I can select those 3 tasks and then I can move them all together. I can also use that to work out a project network. So we can work out the critical path of the tasks. You can tag all of the items, and then that will basically add critical path labels to the tasks that are in the critical path. So you can add resources, you can edit resources. If we edit the resources, let's just pick a resource. You can change the name, you can specify whether a resource works on weekends. You can also go to a particular resource and you can see what the available capacity is on a particular day. And you can then update the capacity either by the index, the column count, or dates. So you might have a resource designated as developer, and you can specify how many developers you've got, or you could have a resource which is a team, maybe team A, team B, team C, and you can specify you've got one team A, and then you might have a project plan that is more at the team level as opposed to a task level. So if we close that, let's just say we can filter the tasks by tags, and you can filter resources by tags, and then you can also it shows you what filters are available. So if we just say filter by phase 1 and apply filter button down here, so any phase 1 clear filters. You can add notes, so it's very handy as you develop your plan and as your plan unfurls to create notes against a particular task. So right click brings up the context menu. You can add a note. So this is a note. Save. We can take another task and we can again add a note. World. Save that. Bring up the panel. You can see here our notes. So that's the task 3's notes. Here's our task 2, our task B notes. You can delete the notes, and you can also filter just to view the notes for a single task, and those will be sorted chronologically. What you can also do, you can zoom in by doing Control and mouse button, and then let's just have a look at what we can do next. So that was view. We can specify what the date is. Again, this is good for simulation, or it's good for when you get updates that are maybe a few days old. And the critical path I've shown you. So again, let's just look at the context menu. You can edit tasks, you can add URLs to tasks, you can edit the resources, you can change the color, you can add and view notes. You can also specify a whole lot of additional information. So for example, what you typically see in a plan, at least at first, is an estimate, which is a safe or a safe duration. You can also set aggressive durations against tasks. You can also record the remaining durations. You can specify dates when everything was ready to be worked. You can view the remaining durations history. You can set a state for time, so you might have different states. You're in planning mode, or tasks has been buffered, which is a concept from critical chain planning. So you can specify the gray background indicates that this has been incorporated into a buffer, or the task is done, text goes green. You can add predecessors and successors by using task IDs. You can delete tasks, you can edit task resources, you can edit project settings. And that in a nutshell is what this application is able to do to help you with your planning.